Hi everyone, Rypone here, back with another episode of the Weekly Purple Team. This week, we're going to do some LSASS dumping. We're going to dump LSASS by Defender again. Yes, done this many times before. This episode, we're celebrating 6,000 subscribers to the channel, so keep it coming. Thanks for that. But in particular, we're going to do a little more red for this episode because last episode was pretty heavy blue. We did rapid fire lateral movement detection. Let's do some LSASS dumping. So many of you are familiar with the project we're looking at today, NimDump. And as a matter of fact, this one's fairly well detected by EDR. But what isn't well detected are some of the sub-branches. We're going to look at the Nim flavor today. We're going to use NimDump. And we're going to get this by Defender. So if you haven't checked this out, check it out. This one still works. Getting by Defender as of my testing right now. Dumps LSASS effectively. So let's take a look at that. We'll jump over here to our Win10 host 2. And we're going to start by downloading our zipped up version of NimDump. All right, so I have Kali over here. I'm serving out NimDump. I zipped it up and called it nimdump.zip just to get it by Smart Screen. We'll save it down. And as you can see, as usual, Defender completely on, just no app and browser control. I can turn that on, won't hurt anything. Still won't do much here. But once again, nimdump.zip. We now come into Explore, and you do have to be an admin for this. And we will extract all. So we'll extract NimDump. Right here, we have our executable, right? So we'll do a refresh here, and you can see it right here. So at this point, nothing's really triggered. Defender hasn't said anything. If we run to our command prompt here, we do need an administrative command prompt because we need the SE debug privilege to do this kind of stuff. But quite simply, we will go into our downloads folder right here. And we'll copy this. So we'll CD in here. Oh, we'll do it twice. And then we're just going to run NimDump. And I didn't even rename this, right? It is just straight up NimDump. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do -R, and we're going to make the output look like something that's not a dump file. This tends to help it get by EDR. So if we do O:, we'll do document.docx. And this will make it look like a document file. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. We actually have one here already, so I'm going to delete this, start it again, just to make sure it works. Document.docx right here, and there we have, well, it didn't follow its instructions. I didn't give it the dash, but it did the dump file, and that got by. I wasn't really expecting that. So there we go. Now it does document.docx right there. So now you can see it's output something that looks like a document file, not a typical dump file. Now the beauty of native dump is it doesn't use mini dump, write dump, so it gets by a lot of controls up. So what do we do with this? Well, we upload it. That's what we do. We just downloaded stuff from Updog. We can simply upload this. So we'll choose a file. And we're going to go to downloads. We'll choose our document. And we'll open and we'll upload. Okay, so we have our dump file. This host is basically compromised. We can now leave it alone, right? We have our hashes. So in the continuing trend of, hey, bad guys can use Windows too, we're going to come over here to Win10 host 4, and we're going to use Mimikatz, right? So you can use Mimikatz on Windows to do this. PyPyCats right now for this type of dump file is not working. It's giving an error. So just make sure that you are using Mimikatz for this. We'll download our document.docx, just like that. And of course, it doesn't matter if EDR is in place because guess what? I own this system. I'm the bad guy here. But still, it didn't trigger on anything. So what we'll do now, we have Mimikatz open over here, and we have our file in our downloads folder right here. So what we'll do, we'll take the extension. We know this is Bruce Banner, so we're going to do Security NimDump, and we're going to give it the document.docx file, just like you would on any Mimikatz. So you give it the NimDump, you tell it where it is, and it says switch to NimDump, and then you run secure logon passwords, like so. And as you can see, it will dump out all of the passwords. Now, you immediately notice this is host 2 win 10. The host I'm on is not that. Also, if we come up here, you will see the user, and there's Clint Barton right there, the user that we compromised. So we basically have dumped LSASS by Defender in 2025. What does this mean you need? You need Credential Guard. Right? You absolutely should have Credential Guard any place you can get it, because that means this won't work, right? You would be dumping out an empty LSASS process. All right, so that is the attack. Let's do the detection. You mean there's detection for this? Yes, there is. If you have Sysmon and you want to write a rule for this, it is theoretically possible to do so. We'll jump over here to our ElasticSim, and let me just clear this out. We'll get a good straight search just to start. And then what we're going to look for is Sysmon event code 10. And then we're going to look for a process accessing LSASS, right? So basically, we're looking for process executables on event code 10 that are accessing LSASS, that are not NT Authority, not Explorer, not Microsoft or System 32. So you can just straight up look for this without including LSASS to start, just like this. And there is NimDump right there, right? Now, of course, you want to probably include your target process of LSASS. So if we do the message field, let's see, we should have a target process here of LSASS. You do your winlog event data target image. So and winlog event data target image containing LSASS, just like that. And you have a feasible rule here. But notice the amount of exclusions I had to do. A lot of things touch LSASS, so it is fully possible that you're going to have to exclude a lot. Notice that I'm excluding Explorer, anything with Windows, anything with Microsoft, or anything from System 32. If I take this out, I'm also excluding the NT Authority users. If I take this out, notice this is going to get pretty big when we do the query. Well, if I extend the time frame. Yeah, see, now we got a bunch of other things that are accessing it. I was just playing with NimDump today. But you want to make sure that your rule is better, right? You're going to have to do some exclusions to make this effective. But you can basically say, hey, I know what normal is, what touches LSASS coming from these normal places. If something else touches LSASS with event code 10, you can fully detect this, right? You can assume that it's LSASS dumping. So take a look at this, possibly create a SIM rule, because this is getting by EDR, right? If your EDR doesn't detect it, you should have that second layer behind it. All right. And that's it for this week's episode of the Weekly Purple Team. Thanks again for getting us to 6,000 subscribers. It's fantastic. Keep it coming. The more subscribers I have, the more videos like this I can make. So thanks once again, and hack the planet to defend the earth.